My wife and I have been arguing and debating as we represent polar sides of the argument. And we live overseas, and she wants to send our kids to an accredited school so that their time there will be recognized by colleges in the United States so that they might get into a school, a university that they've chosen. So I'm going to mention the following specifics only to demonstrate how hard I have flipped my opinion on this subject. I come from a very academic family whose parents went to MIT and to Harvard. And I personally went through the University of California system. And despite this, I have zero, and I underline zero, desire for my children to attend university. In fact, at this point, I would outright discourage it. So when two of my favorite podcasters who used to be professors at Evergreen College, Bret and Heather Weinstein, were asked what they thought of higher education and where it will be 10 years from now, it greatly piqued my interest, and I want to bring you their answer, and I'm going to be back to discuss.
In your opinions, what will be the state of academia in 10 years' time? It's either going to be limping along, more brittle and fragile and uninspired than ever, or there will have been 1 or 3 or 5 or 8 forays into something new, actually really new, that are anti-fragile and bring us back into a state of at least having a system of higher ed that has a chance of brokering knowledge in this bizarrely quickly evolving world.
Yeah, so I will try to add a few more steps in here. I think we have now poisoned the well so that there's no meaning in the degree that somebody walks away with, and that those who are trying to accomplish something, employers who want to hire somebody competent, are going to catch on to this pattern, that they can't detect somebody's level of capacity based on their academic record, and they're going to start hiring people based on proxies, and those who are good at it are going to figure out what proxies are actually meaningful. And so you're going to get a kind of gold rush to find the people who aren't academic, don't have a CV or a degree or whatever, but show the hallmarks of capacity. And as that happens, no reasonable person is going to send their offspring to these institutions. These institutions are going to be starved for people who want to do something technical or want to do science, right? Anything hard-headed is not going to work. And these institutions can't survive on the woke nonsense fields, right? Those woke nonsense fields don't bring in the money. And so they will fall apart. And that is what will fuel a boom in alternative institutions. And so maybe this is wishful thinking, but I hope that the collapse of those institutions as a result of their own greed and idiocy will take out the accreditation system along with it and free people who understand the importance of a proper educational system to build one from the ashes. And I would point out that that does mean that there will be an awful lot of campuses that have no purpose, but have wonderful buildings in which you could put books and hold classes and things like that. So I won't be surprised if the new university system ends up in the buildings of the old one, and if there isn't some cryptic changeover, but something like that.
Yeah.
So if I were to pay to send my kids to college, the only type that I would possibly send them to is the anti-fragile university that Heather was proposing, where they're meeting other people that are going to spur their intellectual development, that force them to defend their ideas with logic or teach them to abandon them in favor of ideas that have a more coherent and cohesive backing behind them. And to say that, you still might need to go to college if you are, for example, pursuing medicine, where you need hands-on experience, but there's no chance that I'm going to be sending them to University of Wokeness, where they will come back hating the parents that gave them the opportunity and so diligently saved in order to do so. Zero chance of that. So in terms of learning things, I think that the future holds that students will be learning from the greatest professors and teachers on the planet on YouTube videos, which we're playing on loop, which will bring the cost of learning actual useful material down to 1/1000th of where we are today. And what I want is that all, as a starting mark, is that all the universities get rid of the DIE programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are creating a cancer in our society that is rapidly spreading from woke you. But it is safe to say that I agree that in their current state, the universities will be deprived of students from thinking parents like myself, and for the fact that the usefulness of the degree is on the downslide, as any employer who currently believes that is a marker for competence, that is going to decrease more and more. And in fact, some employers will start to see a university degree in the liberal arts as a potential for their business taking a cyanide pill by hiring this specific employee. Like, would you hire an applicant from Oberlin College today who majored in ethnic or women's studies? You'd be crazy to. And that's the truth. And more employers are going to realize that if they haven't already. So perhaps higher education amputates these cancerous body parts and then incinerates them and then sends those ashes to the Andromeda galaxy, which is a result that, frankly, I think we all believe is unlikely, because the Democrats will protect the woke indoctrination for much longer than the technology for interstellar travel actually takes to create. Sure, we have Elon working on exactly that, but they have the Federal Reserve printing money to fund their destructive ideology. And so I predict that we will have a continued divide in our society where the college graduates will increasingly sneer at those who haven't wasted taxpayer dollars to learn about gender theory. And those of us who actually produce things will want to partition our lives away from such people. Fortunately, they are getting easier and easier to spot. But this is already a trend that's being demonstrated throughout the United States, as those with businesses who make money, who produce things, are leaving the states with woke ideology like California and New York, and we are splitting apart like oil and water in a form of national divorce. But in general, I agree with the assessment of these two brilliant college professors, and I will be telling my son, learn that on YouTube. Or better yet, take a trip to Southeast Asia or Africa and see how most people on the planet still live, and gain some appreciation for Western civilization and all that it has brought humanity, and appreciate and learn how it was created rather than being indoctrinated by those who are trying to tear down and poison the very structures and ideas that have given human beings such a beautiful bounty and ease of life on this planet.